Hey everyone, welcome back to the I Should Totally Be Dead Right Now podcast, where we tell true stories of survivors of true crime, natural disasters, and everything else in between. And it is a happy birthday to Michelle. Happy birthday,
Ah,
Michelle.
my God, I like kind of forgot. That's what happens when you get effing old. How old am I again? Yeah, too old. Oh my
Well,
God, I was
the
shopping with a friend
uh-huh.
and we had to tell because we were buying booze. And so we each had to tell our birthdays. And it's like, she's 13 years younger than I am. And then I was like, well, that's like effing Caitlin too. So screw all of you guys.
You like young friends.
Guess so. I need someone to take care of me when I'm old.
There you go. That's right.
I'm gonna be calling on you. You'll be all spry and young still.
That's right. Well, today is actually like when this comes out, it'll be actually your birthday. So the
Indeed.
24th,
I'll have to take
October.
another shot for me. Like,
That's right.
yay.
Yay. Michelle and I are apart today, so we have a Zoom.
I don't love
Oh,
it, Caitlin. I have to
I
be
know.
honest. We
It's
didn't have our
different.
time to gossip while we were drinking. We didn't have
I
our drinking
know.
time. We didn't have our making drinks together time. I don't love it.
That is sad. Yeah, I do like that.
I'm gonna have to
Yeah.
like fly back so we can, do a whole bunch right in a row.
Yeah, there we go. No, but this is good. We're making it work. The drink
Uh,
for your birthday, though, is not the greatest.
it's yeah, it was a little it looks really cool. It's witch's brew, which
Hmm.
I was pretty excited about because it's very vibrant green
Yeah.
and it's a cool Halloween drink and we were telling spooky stories today. So if you like tequila, this is probably the one for you.
Yeah.
So let's see if I can run this down.
Yeah.
It's an ounce and a half of tequila, an ounce and a half of Midori, which is
Hmm.
of course where you get the green color, an ounce of pineapple juice, and then a half ounce of lemon juice.
Hmm.
And then you shake it all up and pour it over ice. Boom, you got yourself a weird tasting cocktail.
Yeah. I put it in a martini glass because it looked cooler, but still
Whatever, show
tastes the
off.
same and it's oh, tequila. But
Yeah, I think this would be like, I don't think I'd want to have this at a party as like a big punch or anything because I just don't think it would get drank very
drink.
much. But if it
No.
was vodka or something, or maybe rum even instead of the tequila, I think we would have a much more delicious cocktail.
I could see that. Yeah. I like I said, I like tequila and margaritas. Um, maybe tequila sunrise, but I don't know.
Yeah. In witch's brew, not so much.
Not so
It is
much.
a brew, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Something.
But this is also the Halloween episode. So we're getting a little spooky today, so it's gonna be a little different. If you last year, for Halloween we did what did we do? Black Eyed Children, right? Is that what you talked
No,
about?
that was the year before. I didn't tell a
Oh.
story last year. You did the demonic possession,
Oh, that's right.
if
That's
I recall
right.
correctly, because yours was pretty long and complicated, and I couldn't find a
Yeah,
story. And so for my birthday, you let me not tell a story.
that's true. There you go. Oh, I'm nice.
But I know you're like, I'm amazing. But this year, I have a story.
Okay. Well, shall I go first though for your birthday?
Yeah, I'll let you jump in. I'm
Thank
excited. I
you.
love the Halloween episode. I think it's my favorite of the whole
Yeah,
year.
I do love it too. All right, so this time we're talking about skinwalkers.
Oh, ugh.
So, what is a skinwalker? I shall tell you. It is said that they are an ancient Native American legend that takes a various of forms. In Navajo lore, a skinwalker is a kind of wicked sorcerer who can transform into, occupy, or disguise themselves as an animal. The Navajo skinwalker has deep roots in Aboriginal American folklore. Other tribes throughout the region also have their own versions of skinwalkers. So,
Skinwalkers scare the crap out of me. FYI.
yeah.
I've heard I was watching, and maybe you're gonna talk about this,
Uh-huh.
the Skinwalker Ranch, like that
Mm,
show. Oh my
yeah.
God, that show is so creepy. I
Yeah.
love
It
it.
these I mean, so okay, I'm going to continue on, but so just like black-eyed children, if you talk about them, there's a belief that they will show themselves more the more you talk about them. So I'm doing this for all y'all. So,
Yeah, you're welcome. I'm putting myself in harm's way.
right?
My God.
And also you can have bad luck. So, mm, We'll see
Ah,
about that. And I guess there's a part on this website that says killing them is near impossible. Some traditions say a bullet or knife or spear dipped in white ash might kill them, but probably not.
oh, interesting. I
Also,
heard one story. Well,
mm-hmm.
never mind. I'll let you go ahead.
Also, Skinwalker Ranch in Utah is thought to be the site of countless paranormal incidences and UFO sightings. The land is to believe to be cursed.
I believe it.
Ooh, oh yeah.
There was one episode where they talked about this, and hopefully this is not about what you're like, not what you're about to talk about, but
Mm-hmm.
there was this woman who was kind of like looking far out on her property, and she saw a wolf out there. And
Mm-hmm.
so she like ran inside and grabbed her gun, because she was, I guess, scared that the wolf was going to come get her. And she
Mm-hmm.
ended up shooting it, and it went down. She saw the wolf, like the body collapse. And then she went to go find the body, and it was nowhere to be found. Like they
Mm.
couldn't find it anywhere. And then the next morning, one of the Native American boys on the reservation that was close by
Yeah.
didn't wake up the next day. Like he was found dead in his bed.
Whoa.
And so they always kind of wondered if
If that was
they were
him.
related.
Whoa. That's creepy.
Yeah, the answer is yes, they are related, in my
But what
opinion.
what do they look like? So the description is usually the same, four-legged brute with disturbing human, kind of like a humanoid face mixed with
Mm,
animal and orange red gleaming eyes.
that's not
Or
terrifying at all.
I know, or glaring eyes, sorry. They're very fast and make fiendish cries.
My God.
I
I'm
know.
like trying to imagine what that is. I won't try to recreate it here. No, I'm just kidding. Ah, like, never mind.
Just like that.
Yeah, done. Oh,
um,
kill me.
so I'm gonna tell you three stories about encounters of skinwalkers.
Okay. Is your sister one of them?
It's the first one.
I
Yes.
didn't want to even ask, so you can cut that out.
No, it's okay. No, yeah, my sister and her husband encountered one, and I called her and got her story. So this happened in 2011, in September,
Hmm.
and this is at 1:30 in the morning. So,
Yeah, not the creepiest time to at all.
yeah.
Ugh.
So they were on the highway, kind of going the back roads back to their house near the coast. They were at a friend's place. His parents owned a vineyard. And so they went over there to have like a jam session. They had their instruments, they were all hanging out. Alyssa fell asleep and they just kept playing. And finally, it was like 1 o'clock, and you know,
It's
it's
time to
late.
go.
It is time to go. So they packed up and they were driving home. So Chris is driving and it's a clear night, but the moon is not there. I don't know. Like the moon is just not present.
Oh,
It's
it's
just dark.
probably
I mean,
yeah, dark moon.
yes. I mean, there was trees and such. I mean, it wasn't like they're in a field, whatever.
Gotcha. Got it.
So the only light is their headlights. That's what I'm trying to say. I'm messing this up already. My goodness. So it is dark. That's what I'm just trying to say. It's
It's
dark.
effing dark.
There's no really houses or street lights. It's dark. Okay. So then out in the distance, before their headlights, it kind of can see like small, medium deer. So it's not really large, just like it's an animal
You're
that
like,
they can
oh, what's
see.
that?
Yeah. And then once it hit the headlight, it was pale. And once the headlights hit it, it turns and kind of scurries off to the right side of the road, but it kind of scurries off like a crab, and their arms are over the head, if you can
What?
picture that. So it's like
No,
long.
I cannot, other than some creepy, I don't know what. My
Yeah,
God,
it
now I
was
gotta Google fucking skinwalkers. I hope you're happy.
it was very fast as well. Like once it hit the headlights, they saw it, it scurried, and it was gone. They both were.
Ugh. I'm like looking at pictures and it's like that's the
Yeah, that's
creepiest thing
what she says she
ever.
saw. Something like that.
I have
Uh
hardcore goosebumps, FYI.
so they didn't say anything, and then they're like, Chris was like, "Did you see that?" And she's like, "Oh my gosh, yes, yes, we did." So they talked about that all the way home, scared and just hoping they never broke down on that road.
Yeah, are you
Um,
kidding me?
yeah.
Ugh.
So the next day, Alyssa's at work and she gets a text from Chris, and he's like, I have to show you something when you get home. She's like, okay. She gets home and he plays a video that he found online of campers that saw a skinwalker. And she's like, oh my gosh, that's exactly what he saw. And he's like, that's okay, good. I didn't want to like flaw,
I didn't want to be like, I
influence.
think this is what we saw last night. I want
Yeah,
you to
yeah.
form your own opinion.
Exactly. No,
Ugh.
and so they both agree. So they think it was definitely a skinwalker. What?
Yeah. What?
Terrible.
That
Kind of
would be so
scary.
scary.
I
Yeah.
drove that highway from when I was in a play every night, and it was so ominous, man. It's
Yeah,
just
I
there's
believe
nothing out
it.
there.
Well, and then the fog sort of settles in that area, it seems
Right.
like. I mean, maybe I'm just imagining it, but I do remember like that drive from the coast, like back into Salem. It
Yeah.
just always got super foggy and super creepy at night.
hmm
You're coming home from the casino and then you're like, I can't see shit.
Yeah. No, it's ugh.
Yeah.
All right. So these are other people's encounters of
Hmm.
skinwalkers. So this is written by C Philly 100, and it is 2009 and 2010 in Arizona. And he and his girlfriend are taking a trip with their Navajo friend Shannon to visit her friends and family at the Navajo reservation.
Okay.
So they arrive to Shannon's friend's house first, but now it's dark. And on the reservation, there's not electricity or running water really.
Okay.
So again, it's very dark.
Yeah. Just to be clear.
All they had really was lanterns, and his girlfriend had to use a restroom, but the only thing was an outhouse outside.
Nope.
So
Just like that, Michelle fucking died because she couldn't go to the bathroom. God. Oh,
so
that was so scary.
I know. Well, the friends say they actually saw some mountain lion tracks earlier, so they gave him a 45 revolver to go with her just in case, she gets attacked or something like that. So while she's doing her business, something is moving in the bush. But again,
No.
it's dark. But he could smell like this rotten trash odor, kind of like mixed with shit, But he's like, whatever. I mean, there's a bathroom right behind me. I'm sure that's what that smell is. So,
Ugh.
so she's done and they're walking back, and then something runs out of the bush, but it was so fast. He brings out the revolver, but doesn't shoot because he doesn't know where it went.
Okay,
But
so
that was
they just
that.
see like a flash of it and then it's gone.
Yeah. Yeah. They heard
Okay.
rustling. They saw maybe something come out, but it went away. And he's like, okay, great. So,
That wasn't scary at all.
So it's getting late and there's not much room for them to stay there. And so they're like, let's just go to Shannon's mom's house and we can stay there. Great. So they get into the car and they start driving. While they're driving, the road is fairly boxed in, like trees and bushes around.
Oh, okay, I
Um,
see.
but then all of a sudden, something comes out of the bushes and slaps the car with like a force. He hit the brakes thinking someone needed help or something like that. But Shannon tells him to keep driving. He saw something in the brake lights, like a person, but it crouched over wearing some kind of animal pelt.
Huh.
It had two white eyes. And
Ugh. What? God.
so seeing that, he quickly hits the gas and peels out.
Yeah,
But
no
that
shit,
thing
man.
is, yeah. But that thing is now chasing them and actually gaining on them.
What?
Yeah, it's very fast. It's so fast, in fact, that it leaps in front of the car. And now it looks less like a person and more of a mix of a mountain lion and a person. Like it's
Mm.
like a half mountain lion, half person. And it had this like twisted grin, he said.
Okay, I
At
can't go out at night ever again, I think.
least not in Arizona.
Yeah.
Um,
Sorry, Arizona, you're out.
So Shannon screamed and he threw the car in reverse and was able to spin around quickly. The creature is now out of sight and they finally find the highway. So they're kind of on like a not gravelly road, but like a dirt road. But now they're on a highway, so it's all paved, which is great.
Okay.
So now they can pick up some speed, thinking that
I'm
this
like
is
finding it hard to breathe a little bit.
well, thinking it was all over, he looks to his left, and to his horror, that thing is running alongside them the whole time.
Are you fucking kidding me?
Yeah. And is actually making eye contact with him as well.
With
Blech.
his dumb white eyes? No.
Ugh. Yeah, right.
Ugh.
So the thing actually slaps the car again, almost causing them to crash into a ditch. He
Oh
made
my
a loud
God.
hissing noise before running off into the desert. They stop for gas and make it to Shannon's mom's house where she burnt sage and did a prayer, but none of them slept a wink that night.
Yeah. I would be lucky to sleep again.
I know, right?
Oh my
How
God.
terrifying. No, like I that's what okay, but I don't know. I always feel a little safe in a car. I don't know why. Like when we go camping, sometimes like if we only go for one night, we'll just sleep in the car and like fold Nick's car is big enough to like to fold down the seats and put like a cushion type thing down and I can sleep
Yeah.
like a baby because I can lock the doors, I
Well,
just
you do. You're fully enclosed. You're
yeah.
in metal. It seems like from movies that bears aren't going to get to you in the
Right. Yeah.
car.
Okay. So maybe it's skinwalker proof too. Who knows?
I don't
But
think
I
it
don't want to
is
find out.
anymore. Because
I
it
don't
could
want to
probably
find
just
out.
open the door anyway. God damn
That's
it.
true. That's very true. Let's not try to find out, but
No, my God.
I have one more story for you.
Nope. I don't want to hear it.
So this was written by Neptune 420,
Hell
and
yeah. I know what's up, Neptune.
so his dad owns a small delivery service that operates out of Farmington, New Mexico.
Okay.
And this is where they
Ooh, this is also in the Southwest. So I
Mhm.
know where I'm not going ever.
There we
Yeah.
go. Well, the first one happened in Oregon, so she's
Thanks,
not coming
Caitlin.
back.
Yeah. Never, never again. Or just staying away
Um
from the coast, your sister's house, or anywhere.
yeah, forget them.
Yeah.
But so this delivery company has mostly delivers small packages in the middle of nowhere that like none of the bigger delivery companies like will hassle to do because
Okay.
it's
So they kind of handle all the rural packages. That makes sense.
exactly.
Okay.
Yes. So Neptune 420, he's around 6 or 7 at this time, but he wrote this, of course, when he was older. One day he got a delivery out in Window Rock, Arizona on the Navajo reservation.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
it was about a 2 hour trip. His dad gets this job while hanging out with his Navajo friend, Travis, and his girlfriend.
Okay.
Travis has family there and suggests that they all just go together.
Hmm.
So it's during the summertime, so he is out of school. So his dad takes him along with this delivery. Kind of, they have 2 trucks. So the dad and Neptune, it's weird calling him Neptune, but I have to put a name.
I'm into
Uh,
it.
so they are in one truck, and then Travis and his girlfriend is in the truck behind them, and they kind of
Okay.
have little walkie talkies so they can radio each other.
Yeah.
So they're off. They are off, and they get to where they need to be, and they visit Travis's family, and they all hang out. They made the delivery, and everything goes well.
Okay.
Now it's time to go home, though.
Yeah, I was gonna say dun dun dun. Here it is.
It is now dark.
Yeah,
This is so funny.
fucking Caitlin. It's oh no, it's not quite dark here. I thought it was. Never mind. I was like, it's dark here. It's supposed to snow here.
Is it
Like, yeah, like now, tonight.
really?
Yes. I
Oh,
don't I was told there was no snow, and now we're
lies.
like the coldest winter on record is on the way.
But
All right, back to Neptune 420. I apologize.
okay. So it is dark and it actually rained. So the roads were a little slick. So they were taking it slow.
Okay.
On the left side of the highway, there's sandstone cliffs. And on the right side, there's huge fields separated from the road by a small barbed wire fence.
Okay. Okay.
So they reach the top of a hill, and down at the bottom, as they're coming over, what they see at the bottom of the hill appears to be a very large dog in the middle of the road.
Yeah.
His dad calls Travis asking if he saw that big dog, and all of a sudden, Travis starts yelling through the walkie talkie, saying, "That's not a dog. Speed up now and hit it." And he's just like, "What?" he just keeps screaming, hit it, please, hit it, speed up. And
Oh
so
my God.
he started to speed up, and when he was getting closer, he can see it better now. And this creature is covered in brown, wiry, matted hair that appears to have dried blood all over it.
Oh.
It's still facing the cliffs, the sandstone cliffs, but the moment their headlights hit it, like, the light hits it, it turns around and they make eye contact. He doesn't know how to describe it other than like a mix between a bear's and human face, but it was kind of twisted and distorted and almost looks like in pain. As they
Oh.
got closer, they started to realize it actually is just this massive thing. They thought it was sitting on its hunches.
Conscious?
It was about shoulder height with the hood of the truck.
That's big. I
It
mean,
is,
I'm assuming this is like a box truck and a delivery,
yeah. Mm-hmm.
Oh.
So they literally get inches from hitting it, and then it lets out this scream, and it sounds like someone screaming as their lungs were filled with water, and it leaps backwards towards the field, landing just on the side of the barbed wire fence.
This whole
Then with
story is a hard pass for me. Um,
then
no.
with a but with another leap, he is now out of sight. Travis comes over the radio again saying, "Holy shit, keep driving. We have to get out of here. We have to go faster. Just go. Just go.
Get the
Just go."
fuck out of here.
Yeah.
Yuck.
Pretty soon they are speeding like crazy, and they just get on the outskirts of another town and they get pulled over by the police.
And the police is
Uh
like, it's cool, man. I get it. Sorry, go
well,
ahead.
the Travis actually pulls over as well, and the police is like, "Hey, why are you pulling over as well?" And the policeman is actually a Navajo man as well. And Travis says that they just saw a skinwalker a few miles back and it's been following us. The officer immediately turns white, stammers something about a verbal warning, gets in his car, and goes.
Gets the fuck out himself.
Yeah. And they do the same thing. They didn't see anything else that night, but when they got back home, Travis refused to let them leave without taking a kind of Navajo totem that was supposed to keep the skinwalker away from following them
Ugh.
or protecting them.
I want one of those.
I know, right? So I
Mm.
didn't know there was such a big Navajo reservation in uh, Arizona. I didn't know.
I did not know either. I'm woefully ignorant when it comes to a lot of the Native American
Right.
culture and, where everyone's at and all that. And even
Mm-hmm.
the stuff like in Oregon, I don't know any of that.
Right.
I know where the Spirit Mountain Casino is, and that's about the extent of it. So I
That's
apologize for
funny.
that. That's
You know where the casinos are.
yeah. I put plenty of money in
Yeah,
those
no, that I
casinos.
same, absolutely. We're actually going there tomorrow, so
Are you?
yeah.
I don't know if there's
Um,
any casinos close to here. Probably. I just don't know where they are. There's
yeah, I
nothing
don't
close to
know.
here. There's just
There's
not
nothing
a lot.
close. Oh no.
Well, be careful when you're driving home,
I will. Yeah, absolutely.
especially if
It
it's
will be.
dark.
It's gonna be dark because I'm gonna
What
be
would you
winning that
do?
money. Keep driving. I mean,
Just drive as fast as you can.
yeah, I was told like even if like a deer or squirrel is in the road and just hit them.
Yeah,
Don't try to
that's always what I've been trained. It's
right.
better than you flying off the road. Or I think we told a story about a poor girl who
Right.
saw like a something in the road and ended up going off a cliff.
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, you just got to keep the car steady. You're going to put yourself in more danger if you
No,
don't.
absolutely. It's hard though because it's a reaction. I
Yeah.
There's a bunch of deer over here. Sometimes I do swerve or like try to stop, but it's like at one point, how can I swerve? So I don't know if I saw, like I said, I think I would feel safe in my car just as long as it didn't break down. I didn't break down.
Yeah. Then I would just
That was
stay in my
like,
car. Like,
yeah,
help's
I
not
would.
coming because I haven't called because I'm too scared to leave my car.
Right. And I probably wouldn't have service anyways. So instead of being, like an actual scary movie, I'm just going to stay in the car and no one's going to do anything until the morning because
Yeah,
no, thank
exactly.
you.
She's going to put her seat down and take a little nap.
That's right.
Yeah, right. You're not sleeping.
I probably wouldn't sleep, no, but I would be safe in my locked car.
Oh, God.
Terrifying. So,
That is
yeah, watch out.
terrifying. That's a hard pass for me.
That is a hard
Yeah,
pass.
that freaking Skinwalker Ranch show has got so much crazy stuff in
Mm,
it. Like, I don't want to give away too many things, but they
yeah.
just have so many. It's like anomaly after anomaly after anomaly. Then there's a dead cow, and then there's some more anomalies, another dead cow.
Yeah.
Like, and then the vet comes out to do an autopsy and it's like, well, I can't, it had a heart attack due to anxiety. It's like, what?
Like, okay.
Yeah, that show is scary. There's another one. I think it's Blind Frog Ranch.
Hmm.
That's a really good one too. I saw your face when you drank that drink.
I'm trying, Michelle. I'm trying.
I know, I got mine. It's actually kind of growing on me a little bit. I think
Okay.
it's because my first one's just about gone. So
Nice.
now I'm on my second.
Well, I don't have pineapple juice, so.
That's true. That's true.
Ugh.
Sorry about it.
Okay.
I,
Anything else about the Skinwalkers?
I probably a lot. I'll probably come up with a whole bunch when we're done. We'll watch some
I know,
YouTube
right?
videos and be scared of shit all
It's
the
crazy
time.
going down that I don't know, that
Uh,
hill, that road, going down that road. My gosh.
yeah.
Words. It's the tequila.
Save
I
it, Caitlin. No one's buying it.
know,
You
right?
didn't drink hardly any of it.
Not really, no. It's not.
No, I think you need the pineapple juice for sure.
Yeah, you need the pineapple juice.
I think you're missing it.
Mm-hmm. All right. Are you ready, Michelle, for your spooky story?
Yes.
Oh.
All right. So how this story kind of came to be is we've been spending a lot of time at at our friends. Oh my God, let me just start that over
Mm-hmm.
again. We've been spending a lot of time at our friend's house, Paul and
Mm-hmm.
Cassie. Bought this like 120-year-old house in this
Wow.
very small town in Ohio. And I went to go see it before they actually bought it. And I was like, trying to be all cool about it, like I wasn't completely terrified of it. And it had like, I don't know, the basement kind of creeped me out a little bit, but not really too much. But now I just find out that they've been having all these sort of occurrences that they didn't want to tell me about because they knew I'd
Ooh.
be like, fuck it, I'm never going over there ever again. Like, for instance, Cassie was cleaning the bathroom and all of a sudden the faucet turned on. Like, and she was like,
Ooh.
and another time she woke up in the morning and the coffee pot was on and it turns off automatically. So there's no way they had gone to bed without turning it off. It would have turned off
Mm.
in the middle of the night anyway. And she was like, well, that's weird. And she's had like the oven turn off a couple times, like in the middle of when she's cooking. And then she's had the flames on her stove turn on while she's just like hanging out in the kitchen,
Oh my
not doing
gosh.
anything. I know, I'm like, bleh. So yeah, I guess I can't go over there again. And just multiple sort of occurrences like that.
Mm-hmm.
And so I have not experienced any myself, but we were talking about it. And she was like, my friend Robin, who I know her and her husband, we've partied together quite a few times. She's like, she had a haunting. And in fact, while it was happening, she wouldn't even talk about it because it scared her so bad. And
Really?
yeah, and she didn't. And so I talked with Robin and John and got their story of their
Oh,
haunting at their house. So here goes Robin and John's ghost story.
spooky. I love it. Okay.
And again, I've been to this house. I know these folks, and it's poor things. I mean, they didn't talk about it because they're like, are we crazy? This doesn't
Mm.
happen to normal people. you know? And so, okay, here we go.
Mm-hmm.
So this starts in September of 2019. They had just bought their house, they had just closed on it. And I guess that was a bit of a nightmare process in and of itself. There it
Mm-hmm.
is. Oh God, girl, I'm sorry. And I was like, this is your current house. And they're like, yeah. I mean, they have a pet pig. I think they have two pet pigs that like
Cute.
walks around. And I swear to God, it smells like maple bacon. I know that sounds terrible, but you like pet the pig and you kind of smell it a little bit.
Like,
And it,
mm.
yeah, I was like, I want some breakfast now. So their pig is so cute though. Okay. They bought the house. They were super excited to move in. Early on, when they sort of first moved in, they noticed sort of the same things, but they didn't talk about it with each other. So, because they
Hmm.
all dismissed it, like, this isn't really happening. I'm maybe just imagining it. But the first things they noticed were they have this one sort of long hallway that goes down. And at the end of the hallway, it would just seem exceptionally dark, like darker than it should be with all the lights on and everything. And
Hmm.
then you would go down that hallway and it would always be colder. It was like always a few degrees colder in that area. And
Hmm.
so, and again, they noticed it all individually and didn't talk too much about it. And their dog, they had this new puppy, Bandit, who I
Aw.
have met, who is like the cutest effing dog ever. And Bandit would stare at this spot next to the sliding glass door. They have this out to their outdoors, and then would just bark like all the time at this one spot. And they would go over and there would be nothing there, and they're like, what the hell,
Right.
Bandit? Like, knock that off, go back to your bed, or,
Right.
whatever. And so they were like, okay, that's weird, but they didn't really think too much of it. And then they would be like sitting in the living room, kind of watching TV and hanging out. And there would be like a cold breeze that would come through and they could all feel it. But again, no one brought it up because they were
Mm-hmm.
like, oh, I guess I just need a sweater. Or, maybe there's a
Right.
door open or a draft somewhere. And so then it got to the point. So they sort of lived with that for about 2 weeks
Mm-hmm.
and with no one talking to each other. And then their daughter, Madden, started to refuse to go inside the house by herself. So, I mean, she's a high school student. She's like 16 or 17. I mean, she's not young. And she would wait outside or wait in the shop until they got home. And usually it was only like a half an hour or so, but she just refused to go into the house by herself. And
Hmm.
so they were like, okay, that's a little weird. They also heard a lot of whistling, like clear as day, like someone was walking around the house whistling. And they're
Hmm.
like, huh, okay, that's strange. And they're not whistlers themselves. And like Robin would be home by herself and she would hear the whistling. Or John would be home.
Ew.
Yeah. And a lot of this stuff happened when they were like alone in the house by themselves. And then they would just
Ugh.
feel like they were in fact not alone. And that's why Madden started staying outside. She's like, forget it, it's too creepy inside to
Right.
be there by myself. About a month into them living there, John is on the phone with Robin, and they had no furniture at this point
Mm-hmm.
because I guess her dad was like, I'm going to buy you guys all new furniture. And so they moved
Nice.
in, and the new furniture hadn't arrived yet. So they were
Oh.
living without furniture. I know. I was like, hell yeah,
Yeah,
Robin's dad. I
right.
would like to meet you as well. So John hears the furniture guys outside. So he's like, Robin, I got to go. The furniture guys are here. I can hear him talking outside. And so he could hear two men talking like very clearly. And he goes outside and no one's there. And he's like,
Ew.
what the fuck? And so he's like, uh-oh, that's not good. And I guess they heard car doors closing all the time. And you know how you hear a car door in your driveway and you get up and like, who's here? And
Yeah.
they live out in the sticks. I've been to their
Oh.
house and you have to drive up this like little tiny gravel driveway
Mm-hmm.
for a long ways to get to their
So
place.
hearing car doors is not normal
Yeah,
unless
it's
someone's there.
unusual. And they just, yeah, they figured someone's there and then they go outside and no one's there at all. And so
Mm.
they're like, ugh. So at this point, they start kind of talking to each
Yeah.
other and realizing that all three of them are having these experiences where
Mm.
they're hearing the whistling, they're seeing the dark shape or the darkness in the hallway, and feeling the cold in the house periodically.
Right.
One night, Madden and her friend are there
Mm-hmm.
and taking selfies or whatever. And they bring the selfie out, and there is a face in the background of the picture. And I try to get the
No.
picture, they're trying to find it.
Okay.
And so they were like, nah, that's not real. Like, that's not a real face. And so they spent like the next 2 hours trying to recreate the angle and the lighting and all that stuff, and they never saw another face.
Oh my
And so
gosh,
it
that's
was like,
terrifying.
yeah, and To them, it felt like a very masculine energy.
Hmm.
And Robin actually saw, she said it was like a big shadow
Mm-hmm.
that would be kind of moving around the house. And it was very large and not man shaped, but she felt like it was a man. I don't
Okay.
know.
No, it
Like
makes
that was
sense.
her intuition.
Hmm.
It was kind of human shaped, but not quite. Like it
Hmm.
was mainly
Okay.
just a big blob shadow. Yeah. They ended up like, it turns out they were in touch with the old owners of the house. So they were still receiving some of the old owners' mail, and they were actually watching the old owner's horse for them on the
Hmm.
property. And so they were in contact. And so they end up going over there, and they were chatting and bullshitting around and everything. And they mentioned this, like, all this stuff that's going on. And the neighbors were like, or the old owners were like, yeah. Like, they weren't like, you guys are crazy or anything. They were just like, yeah, that's okay.
Oh my
And like,
gosh.
just, they weren't phased by it at all. And so they sort of came to the conclusion that they must have been living with this for some time themselves.
Uh,
So they go and they talk to their neighbors down the hill,
mm-hmm.
and we're like, hey, we are experiencing these things. Like, do you know anything about it? And they're like, oh, yeah, there was this guy, Gary. He died in the house. And they were like, what? So I guess not the previous owners, but the owner before that was
Uh-huh.
Gary, and he had in fact died in the house. And so
Whoa.
they start asking all these questions like, what's up with Gary? Like, tell us more about him. And turns out he was a big man. He was 6'4", and a large guy. And so they asked, he was like, was he like a whistler? And he's like, they're like, oh yeah, he whistled all the time.
Ah!
Like, I know. And so the next door neighbor, like the ones at the bottom of the hill, came up
Mm-hmm.
to check out their house. And they were like, oh, that spot by the sliding glass door, that was
Mm-hmm.
where Gary always sat. Like
Oh.
they didn't like, our dog sits here and barks at that. They didn't say that. It was sort of organically came up that Gary had had a chair that he always sat in right at that spot where their dog Bandit would always lose his mind. So they're like, what the fuck? They also heard quite a bit of footsteps and, I mean, all kinds of things.
Mm-hmm.
Once they started making changes to the house, things got a lot more intense. Like, for
Oh.
instance, they pulled out all these rhododendrons that had been overgrown, and, there's weeds everywhere, and they just, they had probably lived out their life and needed to come out. And things got crazy after that. Like, they heard a lot more footsteps. There was a lot more of the cold all the time, and the feeling of being watched intensified incredibly. And it turns out that Gary had planted those rhododendrons and was super proud of them. Yeah.
Oh.
So they were like, oh my goodness. And so whenever they would make changes, like out in the yard, they would dig up the garden and, move something from here over to here. Just things got more intense and more negative. And it got to the point where nobody in the house was sleeping. And then Madden started behaving very strangely.
Hmm.
So their daughter started like fighting and being more aggravated, it sounded like, all the time.
Interesting.
And, Robin said it was like she didn't even know her. I mean, this is her daughter. She was like, it was a totally different person. And she
Mm-hmm.
was just acting very strange. She didn't, and the words that were coming out of her mouth were
Mm-hmm.
not normal things that Madden would say. And so I
Okay.
don't have any like firm examples. I should have gotten some more
Right.
examples, but she was just like, this is not my daughter. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
I think they sort of chalked it up to, she's a teenager, and that's what I would have done.
Right. Yeah.
Teenagers are the worst, but they knew something was up. So Robin, I guess, this is probably a couple weeks later, is in a meeting, and her friend from her coworker was like, what is wrong with you? And at this point, they haven't slept in probably like 2 weeks.
Oh my
Just
gosh.
like, and they're at each other's throats. They're
Mm-hmm.
fighting all the time at home. Like everything is just super negative at home. And that's not
Mm.
really been the case. I mean, her and John have, been together, I think, for like, I don't know, 10 years or something. I'm
Yeah.
guessing. I don't really know. Robin's like, you were telling this story all wrong. But, they had never experienced this sort of infighting like they were having.
Mm.
So she's in this meeting and her coworker's like, what's wrong with you?
Right.
And it just sort of, I think I'm being haunted. It was like this blah sort of.
Yeah.
And so she tells her the whole thing, and her friend or her coworker is like, my roommate is a clairvoyant. I'm gonna get you in touch with her like right away.
Ooh.
Yeah, I was like, she didn't even like, you're a crazy person. There
No,
was none
didn't
of
bat an
that. It was
eye.
like, nope, I'm gonna help you. This is what you
Yeah.
need to do.
Aw.
Yeah, I was like, oh. So they call the clairvoyant, and they what the clairvoyant does is gives them a paper bag with some different things in it. It had crystals, like small crystals in it, a couple of white candles, some sage, and then a stick. I'm not sure what the stick was for. We didn't actually talk about that. But what she said is you need to go home and light the candles. The candles are for purity. You need to open all of your doors and windows. And then you're going to light the sage and you're going to light the candles and you're going to put all the crystals in the corner and you're going to tell the spirit to, go towards the light and get the fuck out.
Oh, okay.
Essentially, probably in a much nicer way. And so they're like, oh, and she's like, do you have any holy water? And Robin was like, yes.
No. Oh,
As a
what?
matter of fact, I do have holy water. So
Who
Robin, I know who the fuck has holy water,
I
right?
don't I don't.
Yeah, I don't
Shit.
have any either. Maybe I'll get some
I
now.
know.
But no, I guess she had done this like photography session at this big cathedral, church in
Mm-hmm.
Kentucky where she used to live.
Mm-hmm.
And the nun there was like, here, take this holy water, this little thing of holy water with you when you go. And she's like, super,
Cool.
thank you. Yeah, and so it's been rattling around in her car for 10 years.
Oh my
This like
gosh.
little vial of holy water. And so she's like, yep, I got holy water. So check, check, check. I'm ready to do this exorcism,
I bet it's
essentially.
powerful because it's been aging. It's been sitting
Yeah,
there.
hopefully it's even better. It's gotten holier. So they're going to do the seance.
Yeah.
Or not the seance, excuse me. They're going to do like their exorcism.
Yeah.
It was to the point where Robin was like, we got to call a priest. We have to do something. And so this
Mm.
clairvoyant just sort of popped up when they needed her. So they decide they're going to do it. It's fall time and they're going to do it at 7 o'clock in the evening because that seems to be the time that it's most active.
Oh,
And
interesting.
so they kind of have a plan. And so they go about starting it and they open up all the windows and everything.
Is it
And
dark by this time?
yeah, it must be because it's, well, I don't know, 7 o'clock probably is dark at the end of, no, it's October now. So yeah, it probably was dark in 7 in the evening. So they open all the doors and they start to put the crystals in the corners of the house
Mm-hmm.
and all of the smoke detectors go off at once. Every single one in their house,
Ew.
including all the carbon monoxide detectors. And they had like a smoke detector way out, like in this other room that's kind of their party room now. It
Uh-huh.
was even going off in there. And at that point, they hadn't lit any of the sage candles or anything, like nothing was on. So they're like, what is going on? And so they're all going. So they decide to light the candles and the sage and they
Uh-huh.
start sort of like move towards the light and, leave here and, you know, go to
Bye.
a better place. Yeah, get out of here. And Madden started to kind of almost convulse and her eyes rolled up like in the back of her head.
What?
And they're like, what? And so she's kind of tweaking out a little bit. So John
Uh-huh.
is sort of holding her down because she is getting very agitated by all of this stuff that's happening.
Uh-huh.
And so Robin is just like hitting her with the holy water and like, get to
Jeez.
seven, you fucking Gary.
Yeah.
And just telling him, you know, go towards the light, go towards the light, and all this stuff. And then all of a sudden, Madden goes limp. All the smoke detectors turn off, and they see this sort of black, blobby, shadowy thing
Mm-hmm.
sort of move towards the door. And their dog lost his shit. Like he's cowering in the corner and clearly terrified. And they were
Oh.
like, what is going on? And they sort of see it leave the house. And as soon as it left the house got 10 degrees warmer. Like they were checking the thermostat, and
Whoa.
it's in the middle of the fall with all the windows and everything open. So that just it instantly got warmer. And then the clairvoyant came back to a party. In fact, they didn't even know she was there. And I
Uh-huh.
guess she was sort of meandering the house, and she comes back and they're like, you got rid of it, didn't you? And they're like, yeah, we fucking did. And so it turns out they didn't have any issues after that whole sort of exorcism, whatever you
That's
want to call it.
insane.
Yeah. And they're like, in like Cassie was telling me about it because it's, you know, her and Robin are close friends.
Mm-hmm.
And Robin didn't talk about it with any friends or anything because it was like too
Like, how could
scary.
you?
Yeah, it's like, well, and who's gonna believe you and all
Yeah.
this stuff. And it was one of those things that they just sort of felt like, how is this happening to us?
Right.
Like, this has not happened to normal people. And so they ended up like looking him up later. They found his obituary and everything. And the instant she saw his picture, she's like, yep, that was him. And she just like knew that that was Gary. And I think he was just really
Dang.
possessive of his house and was not eager to leave. So
Man, Gary,
he
man.
did. So
That is
yeah.
terrifying though. My gosh.
Uh,
That's insane.
I know. Well, and the worst part for them was Madden, you know,
Right.
acting so strangely, and then all of a sudden kind of snapped back to her normal self after this was all over. So bleh.
Ugh. That's terrible. That's so
I was like,
scary.
I've been to your house. Are you kidding me? But I will say, I was like, I never felt anything. And it's like, because we met you after this was all done.
Yeah.
So,
My goodness.
oh God. So there, yes, my local haunting.
Yeah, no, that's great. It's a great story.
Yeah, poor Robin and John.
Oh
Forget
yeah,
about
no,
it. That would be my worst nightmare.
absolutely. Yeah. No,
I
thank you.
keep like, I think one of my biggest hesitations about potentially buying a house here in Ohio
Uh-huh.
is it might be haunted. I don't want a
Seriously.
haunted house, especially now that I know Cassie and Paul's house is probably haunted.
You're gonna have a ghost.
Apparently, so their house was owned by the same people the whole time, like the same family.
Mm.
And the woman they bought it from, her first husband was murdered.
Oh
They just
my
like found that
gosh.
out. And so they don't know any of the details or anything, but we kind of wonder like, is that who's in there? Was he murdered in the house? What's going on?
Oh, no,
Yeah,
thank
so I'll
you.
let you know if we have any continued occurrences that I
Yeah, let me
can.
know if they find that picture too.
Oh yeah, I will. Are you kidding me? We'll post that. So her friend is looking for it right now.
Okay.
So it was, you know, it was like 2019, so it was quite a few years ago. But bleh.
Ugh, gross. That's so scary. Well, I hope everyone is spooked at home. My goodness.
Yeah, no doubt.
Well, all
So there
right.
we are. Yeah,
That's good. That's
creepy stories
yeah,
that
I
I want no
know.
part of.
Happy Halloween, y'all.
Check out some Skinwalker videos, and be ready to. Oh my God, be ready to be terrified for the rest of your life.
There you
There it
go.
is.
Yeah, just don't go
Oh
outside when it's dark. That's it.
yeah, there,
Yeah,
easy peasy.
easy, easy.
Is
Well,
it
all
daylight
right.
savings coming up?
What?
Daylight savings must be coming up soon
Oh,
because I always
I don't
remember
know.
I always had slumber parties on the weekend of daylight savings, and my mom would
Hmm.
be like, "These kids are never going home,"
That's
because we were all
funny.
there for that extra hour.
Uh-huh.
So.
Well, happy birthday, Michelle. And
Oh, thank
hope
you.
you have a good birthday. And
Ah,
yeah, everyone stay safe out there.
Yeah, don't run into any skinwalkers. I was going
No.
to say, if you do, just run them over with your car, but that's probably poor
They're too
advice.
fast. You
Yeah, you
can't
probably won't
kill
hit them
them with the
anyway.
car, it says. Good luck.
So scary. I was actually looking up what the motivation of
Mm-hmm.
skinwalkers are. Like,
Mm-hmm.
why do they go out? And there was a few theories. One of them was that they feed off the fear. And so
Oh.
there might be some sort of energy that they get from people being
Mm-hmm.
so terrified.
I could see
That
that.
was really all I came across so far.
Interesting.
Yeah.
All right.
I found
Well,
quite a few more stories about it though. But,
there's a lot, which
yeah, there
makes
are a
it,
lot.
All right. Well,
Hard not.
we hope you guys enjoyed these stories and have a happy Halloween and happy birthday, Michelle.
Oh, thank you. Stay safe
Yes.
and go free.
All right. Bye.
Bye.